Hi all, I'm Judy Shearwaters. Welcome to my channel. Here I bring you author interviews of ordinary people who had a story they need to share with the world. I also bring you short little writing prompts to get those creative juices going in your own brain so you can write your stories for your generations to come. Because you know what? You have a story to tell. Let me help you tell it. Well, today my voice is kind of trying to leave me, but we will forge ahead here because I want to bring you another children's book author. I know lately I've had, I don't know, five or six of them. But they all have some amazing story to tell you, some last minute Christmas shopping perhaps for you. This author, I'm not even going to venture pronouncing her last name. It's quite long. I haven't counted up the number of letters in it, but it's very, very long. And her first name is Preethi, and she's just a delightful, delightful person. Let me read you her bio. Preethi is an author, speaker, and consultant, best known for her Mystic India for Kids series and her business guide, The Ease Equation minus systems plus support equals sustainable success. She began writing bedtime stories for her children, inspired by a desire to pass down values, culture, and timeless life lessons. These stories blossomed into the Mystic India for Kids series, retellings of Hindu mythology woven with parallel stories and reflections that teach courage, curiosity, and cultural connection through imaginative, engaging narratives. The series brings ancient tales to life with heart, humor, and visually rich storytelling, helping young readers explore their heritage while cultivating empathy, confidence, and wonder. Beyond children's literature, Preethi draws from her extensive experience in HR, operations, and executive support to empower entrepreneurs and business leaders through her guide, which is called The Ease Equation, which offers practical strategies to create sustainable success with clarity, systems, and support. Whether inspiring children or guiding leaders, Preethi's work is rooted in the same philosophy, helping people feel grounded in values and supported by culture structure so they can flourish creatively, personally, and professionally. So, without any further ado, here's Preethi. Hi, Preethi. Thank you so much for joining me today, taking the time out of your busy schedule and joining me. My audience is very much memoir writing, but you started writing in order to write for your children, I believe. Tell me what interested you first in writing.
So I think writing has always been a part of what I do. Like even from very young, when I was
Mhm.
back in school and college, I was still writing, like even before knowing what being an author meant. So back in school, I used to write for like articles and essays for my school magazine,
Mhm.
school
Right.
newsletter. I used to write poetry back then, and then going into college, I think I started doing more the technical kind of writing, or more research papers and paper presentations. And the author side of it initially started more based on my professional book. So I did write a book for my day job or the business that I do. I do business consulting and coaching, and that initially was more of a book for lead generation. But the storybook writing was because my daughter is 5 now, so these are basically stories I started telling her as bedtime stories. And when she wanted to see them in print, wanted to see how these characters looked, then I started creating them initially as just PDFs for her. And
Uh,
when other friends and parents saw and liked it, is when they became published books.
uh, well, good. So you got encouragement from friends to continue on and to actually put it
Mhm.
into books. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Um, so tell us about your children's books, and I want to bring up, um, well, you have them in back of you actually, so we'll just look at these on your background there. Tell us about a little bit about each one.
Okay, so most of my children's books basically are based out of or based on Hindu mythology.
Hmm.
And these are like stories that I basically grew up listening from my own parents and grandparents growing up. And to me, the way I see these books are like they are not religious books, they're not textbooks kind of things per se, but then these are books that take the value from those stories,
Right.
like values like kindness and courage and
Sure.
patience and standing up for what's right. So these are like, and also like my belief is if you know your own culture, your own stories, your own background, one, it helps you stay grounded. Two, it
Mm.
also opens up your understanding of not only your own culture, but of others and being accepting of others' cultures and beliefs. Because for me, the more I learn about these things and I understand, there's that common thread, doesn't matter which ethnicity, which religion you are from, the
Right.
common thread in all of them are some of these shared values, right? Like kindness and courage and being patient and standing up for what's right and respect. These are part of mythology, culture, religion.
Sure.
Doesn't matter which one you are affiliated to.
Sure. It's like universal themes. You
Yeah,
learn it regardless of what country you grow up in or what religion. Yeah,
yeah,
universal themes. I love it.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's
these
awesome.
are some of my books, as you said. So this was the first one I wrote,
Okay.
and this is basically, yes, based out of stories about from God Krishna,
Uh,
and this is basically where he is depicted as a tiny, a little mischievous boy who does things, and yeah, that's Krishna.
ah,
So, and this story basically, there are like lots of stories in them, but then
hmm,
every, there are a lot of coloring pages also, like for children to color. And all my books also have like a parent or a teacher guide to say how they can like use this to then ask reflective questions, or how do you connect it to what a kid is doing today in the house or
right.
in the school kind of thing. So I
I
now
really
have
like
about six
that. Yeah.
books, like these six on the series. And like the last two, like these two books,
Hmm.
this one and this one, they also have like, so they do all books mostly have 10 short stories in each, but then the last two kind of have 20, because each story there is one retelling of the actual mythology story, but there is also another parallel story which links the value you have learned from there in today's world. Like, so if you learned about standing up for what's right, then there is a story about maybe having a bully in the class,
Hmm.
or how do you stand
Ah,
up to them, or how do you support a friend who needs to be supported in a playground. So there's that parallel story also.
oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. It's an added feature for teachers, and an
Mhm.
incentive for them to purchase the book, actually, because it
Yeah.
can be used in the classroom. I like that. That helps a
Hmm.
lot. Yeah. So, is there a section of one of the books that you would like to read for us?
Okay, I could. And especially this book for that matter, I think this is my favorite book because
Okay.
this is, yes, it talks about Shakti being like the courage.
Okay.
And this celebrates like nine different forms of courage or nine different forms of Shakti.
Uh,
And each one talks about kindness, one about being brave, about standing up for what's right, being steadfast. So each thing. And this also is related to a Hindu festival called Navratri that we celebrate,
mm,
which on each day we celebrate one form of the goddess. And on the 10th day, it's like a culmination of all of it, where you celebrate basically knowledge and education and having
mm,
studied these nine different forms. And that's the day, usually every year, that's the day like we basically celebrate education, learning. And if there are like little kids in the house who are like starting to learn to read or write for the first time, that's
mm.
the day their parents hold their hands and make them write for the first time.
Ah, okay. All right.
So I can probably just read out that last story or the last thing that I have in this book. And this is like that story in your world component that I mentioned, where you have a parallel story. So this is in her classroom. Eva listened to her teacher explain that tomorrow was the big spelling bee. Eva's hands felt sweaty. She remembered stumbling over words the last time, and the thought of standing on the stage again made her stomach twist. That evening at home, her grandma sat with her. You look worried, child. What's on your mind? Eva sighed. I'm afraid I'll mess up again this time. Her grandma smiled. Do you know why we celebrate Vijayadashami? It reminds us that even when the battle feels hard, goodness wins in the end. It's not about being perfect, it's about being brave and kind, like the goddesses you have learnt about the last 9 days. Eva thought about it, being steady like Shailaputri, patient like Brahmacharni, fearless like Chandraganta, and forgiving like Mahadurga. Each one gave her a piece of courage. The next day she stood on stage. Her knees trembled, but she whispered to herself, all the strengths are in me. She spelled carefully, doing her best. She didn't win first place, but she smiled proudly at as the audience clapped. She had faced her fear and found her light, just like the goddesses in the story she had read.
Oh, very cute. Very cute. I like that. I like that a lot. So you heard a lot of these stories growing up yourself, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. So what was the most challenging part of putting your story into words, putting it onto paper?
Um, I think like one was, yes, I did know the stories, and
Hmm.
sometimes it's like orally telling the stories is one thing, but then writing it down as a story is another thing. And for me, I think it was trying to tell the story, but also make it appropriate for that age level because it should be able to connect with them. They should be able to understand because
Hmm.
most of my stories are aimed for children under 10 years of age. So
Okay. That was my
if it
next
was,
question. Yep.
yeah, if it was like just vague concepts and things, they wouldn't understand.
Right.
So simplifying it, making it relatable to their level. And I think in one way, it helped is like, yeah, like I said, my daughter is 5. So when I was writing this, she was like 4 years old. And if I could make her understand and if she could answer my
Mm.
questions and say things, I'm like, okay, so then most kids this age would understand, right? So like that helped.
It's really nice to have a live-in critique there. Someone who you can kind of
Yeah.
bounce it off of. That's
Hmm.
great. I like that. Um, how did you balance getting out what you wanted to write with the desire to inspire readers? How did memoir writers, we write about ourselves, but the whole idea is we're writing to entertain or to help others. So the writing
Hmm.
is really for the reader,
Hmm.
not for us.
Yeah.
So how did you add anything to these stories other than what you had heard as a child?
I think for me, one is like the what I added were those reflection questions or those parallel connecting
Mhm.
stories because, like you said, like I wanted this to be something which was, yeah, for me, like it's like I think storytelling is like it's both an art, but it's also a service because you're telling it for somebody else.
Hmm.
So for them to understand, for them to connect and get those values or lessons out of it. So I think those connecting stories, those reflection points, and then adding things like coloring pages and
Oh,
activities.
yeah.
And I think those were definitely like my add-ons that I wanted to have to engage the audience better. And like there are even like puzzles
Ah,
in my book.
oh, that's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
do you have that in every book? That sort of
Uh,
thing?
yeah, the you do have reflection questions in every book. You have coloring pages in every
Oh,
book, puzzles in some of them. Um, yeah,
okay.
and the parallel stories, like I said, are in those last 2 books.
Okay. I didn't realize that because I had looked through your books, a couple of them, and you do have colored pages in there,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Right. But you have
yeah, they
these.
have a mix. So the first book, as I said, has a lot of coloring pages. So the first
Okay.
book, this one, has
Okay.
uh, the entire book is like one side is the coloring page and the one side has text in them.
Okay.
And the other books, they have coloring pages at the end. So this one has images in the within the story itself. There are images.
Hmm.
Oh, this one. But then at the end of the book, there are coloring pages.
Ah, that's a great idea. I like
Yeah.
that.
And
Okay.
this, the Ganesha book is the one where you saw that puzzle,
Uh-huh.
because Ganesha's book, there is Ganesha, and his medium of transportation is a mouse. So
Okay.
this is like the mouse trying to find its way to Ganesha.
Ah, very nice. I like that. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
And even these books, though they also have parallel stories, they also do have coloring pages of the goddesses there.
Okay. So they're activity storybooks,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So that gives a buyer more reason to buy it,
Hmm.
because usually you have an activity book or you have a coloring book or you have a storybook, but you have
Yeah.
all
No,
three.
these are mostly all combinations of all of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
like that.
wanted to make it more engaging, more. So it's like the parent could read the story and then be like, okay, color the book, and then they could do some chore or something, and this kid could still remain occupied.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
good, good. I have my questions over here on my other screen, so that's why I keep kind of looking over. I should have them memorized by now, but I don't. But um, so were there particular things that you decided to leave out, or did you just, I mean, I guess writing, what has been handed down from generation after generation, you kind of knew what needed to go in,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I think like it's not more of leaving out, but then there are some components of stories where I would say there is like some kind of tragedy or something happening to somebody. Like, so those parts I would have kind of left them
mm-hmm.
vague.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say like somebody died, but I would be like, okay, the bad got defeated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't exactly go into like some of those details because may not be appropriate for that age group.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I think I did like tone down a few things, but otherwise the story is completely still there.
I think we have toned down our children's literature a lot from the days of Snow White and Cinderella and all those, because there are some really, really dark things in all of Disney
Hmm.
movies, and everything, the really dark
Yeah,
and really scary stuff. But
yeah.
I think the children's books that I've seen lately, they do not have that scary stuff. I don't know how I ever survived all that, but I did.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
um, so um, so did you ever well, we know your audience is kids under 10, basically, right? Okay.
Hmm.
Do you go to schools and offer these books because they've got that guide in the back?
Yeah, so I did try. So I have read some of these at my own daughter's school in her
Okay.
class, and or in fact, was it last month? Yeah, I also did do like a reading for an international school. So they had
Okay.
their literacy week, and for them, for grade twos and threes, they also have like a chapter or part of their curriculum where they talk about culture and belonging.
Oh,
So this kind of fit in well. So I
yes.
went and did like a book reading and answered some Q&A from the kids from grade two and three.
Right.
I've done that, but then with the school here, so I live in Toronto. Then the Toronto District School Board is probably the largest school board in Canada, and with them, if you want to do something at an entire board level, then it's like having to have yourself incorporated as a business, become a
Uh,
partner with them,
yeah.
and it's a lot of loops.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone all that way there, but then I have done like individual readings at some classrooms. And
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Okay. Um, Now let's talk about your artwork. How did you decide on the book covers and the illustrations inside? Did you have an illustrator?
no, so most of them are Some drawn by me, some
Huh.
digital, some AI. It's a combination of all of those.
Okay.
So this
Mhm.
one basically, the cover page is a canvas painting that I have in my house. The one I
Oh,
one a
okay.
painting that I did. And yeah, so it's a combination of all those. Like some
Okay.
of them I drew them, some of them I digitized them, some of them are AI plus editing.
Right. Yeah. AI is amazing when it comes to pictures. Oh my goodness. And just
Yeah.
give it an idea and it's amazing what it comes out with. But
Hmm.
well, good, good. And all of your illustrations inside in the same way.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, but then like with AI, I also did find that if you generic just asked AI to create something, they are almost always like all Disney illustrations. So
Uh-huh.
even if it's AI, I think I mostly what I do is like I draw it something and upload it and say I want to look like this,
Right.
but then can you also add that in the background or can you also do this?
Mhm.
And then go on Canva and do some editing myself
Yeah.
because otherwise it's I think very generic Disney-ish kind of cartoons that it generally gives out.
Yeah. 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 So, why did you decide to self-publish and not go to a traditional publisher?
I think it is a mix of two things. One, initially, like I said, it was basically just for my own kids and my friends and my family kids.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's how it started. So it made sense to initially just print out PDFs or
Sure.
like spiral bind them as books and give it to them. And then again, like when I looked into publishing, like I did think of Scholastic because Scholastic is the does
Oh, yeah.
all the kids' books and they have book fairs and things in school.
Right.
But then with them, it's like they wouldn't look at an individual author's manuscript. You have to go find yourself an agent. I
Yes.
wasn't sure where to find an agent, whether the agent is like trustworthy, is this the person to go with? So it seemed like a lot of those things, one. And two, the more I write, I feel like I want to have that creative freedom because once you go through a formal publisher, a formal editor, an agent, and all of it,
Hmm.
they would tweak it to the way they seem it's right. And in some cases, I
Yes.
feel like I might lose the message in the
Right.
in
Right.
translation. So
I agree. I
yeah,
agree. They can change it all up, change your book covers,
yeah,
everything, you know.
yeah,
But no, I agree. And yeah, getting an agent, it's just such a hassle. They say it's 4 to 7 years to get a book traditionally published.
yeah.
And for me, I could be dead by then, you know. So, but no, I enjoy the freedom and the
Mhm.
liberties of, doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, um, okay. Now, advice for any writers well, let me back up because I skipped over a couple things. Is there anything else before we get to your advice for first-time writers? Anything else that we missed that you'd like to add to it? Or did we cover it all?
I think like basically the only thing I would say is I kind of feel with the current children, not many of them are readers. They are
Uh-huh.
mostly more media, video games kind of thing. And I really want parents and teachers to bring this reading back
Mm,
because yes, sometimes like yes, even videos and things do give them knowledge and give them information, but then having that creative spark in their head and when you're reading something, you're picturizing that character or picturizing that scene and having that creativity and being able to do it, I think is really good for the children and not just from an academic standpoint, right? Like even when you're like having that creativity, having that thing helps you remain more grounded. When you're facing problems and things, it becomes like your safe space for yourself. I think
mhm.
having that is important.
Yeah, yeah, right. They're way too attached to their videos than to books. So
Hmm.
that's good. Good. So now, many of our listeners are first-time writers, or maybe they haven't even started writing. But
Hmm.
what advice would you have for a first-time writer?
I would say like start simple, keep it like personal, honest kind of thing. And when you're initially starting to write something, like I think just put pen to paper kind of thing, and you don't really need to have that completely polished outline or a perfect
Hmm.
plan. It can even start with like capturing one small memory or one small story that you've already heard and learned, and you can start from there and then revise. You can rewrite. Can be one moment, one memory, one emotion, and that can then lead your story. Like you
Hmm.
can start from there and build. Yeah.
Yeah. Start little and then
Yeah,
it's like, what do they say? Like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. So
exactly.
you
Yeah.
almost, yeah, you can't sit down one day and say, okay, I'm going to write this book today. No, you're
Hmm.
going to write
Yeah.
maybe one paragraph today,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, that's great advice. Great advice. So looking back um, at your experience, at your journey through all this, what do you think was your hardest thing? Was it the writing, the publishing, getting it uploaded and everything, or is it the marketing? What's the hardest thing for you?
I would say marketing is the hardest thing, and it
Me
still is.
too.
Yeah, like, yes, once you have the story, once you have it, you can write it. And in terms of illustrations, and you can either do it yourself or hire an illustrator. And now with the Amazon self-publishing and
Mhm.
like a lot of platforms that offer self-publishing, it's that I think that part's much easier. It's getting that word out, marketing, getting people to know your books, know
Right.
you as an author. I think that's the bigger problem.
That's the hardest thing. It really
Yeah.
is getting the word out. And you've
Yes.
got to do more than just your relatives and friends because, that's a finite thing,
Yeah.
so you've got to
Yeah.
get
That
the
that
word.
that'll get you like the first 10 or 20 sales, but after
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, after that, forget it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, now what? You've got quite a few books out. You've got at least six children's books.
Hmm.
What's next? What are you doing? What are you working on something now, other than the marketing?
Yes. So actually, two different um, series or two different streams that I'm currently working on.
Okay.
One of them, the first book is almost done. I'm in the process of editing and illustrating and all of that now.
Okay.
So basically from these books, like some of the teachers and parents, the feedback I received was, yes, they do like these books, but then for somebody who doesn't know it, the first thing they look at this, it does look like Hindu mythology only.
Mm,
And it requires somebody else having to tell them, or for them to actually buy a book and then understand that, okay, that is that parallel connection to kids today, or it's those values or those characters in the book. But then, so now I'm planning another series which is still backed or based on the
okay.
Indian mythology or Indian literature that I have grown up with. But that's not front and center, but the values or the characters are more front and center. So more like the book about patience or a book about kindness, and how a kid
Okay.
goes through something and learns that patience is important kind of thing, but then would also have small references to scriptures or books from the Indian,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
thing. So
How, m-
that's
so how
one.
many how many books do you foresee in that series?
Thinking another four or five like this, but
Okay.
yeah, like I said, it's just the first book for now.
Yeah.
Uh, and another one is my son also is an author. So he's 13 and he writes more um, teenage adventure thriller kind of
Ah,
books.
okay.
So another one is a collaboration series where both of us are co-authoring. And that is going to be more like the Percy Jackson, the Rick Riordan kind of books, where, but then with the background of the Indian mythology. So, like most of the Percy Jackson books are Greek mythology, but then also with the teen thriller adventure component to it. So, this is going to be teen thriller adventure,
Uh,
but with a backing of Indian mythology.
okay. All right. Well, good. All right. Very good. So I will have all of your contact information down in my show notes and
Hmm.
to see, let people know where they can get your books for those last minute Christmas gifts, especially.
Hmm.
But I usually give out prompts, writing prompts, memoir writing prompts for my
Hmm.
people. I don't know if you have anything you would like to share with us, kind of getting their creative juices going so they can write something for their generations to come. So, do you have
I
a prompt that you could share?
Yeah, I would probably say yes because I write from my own childhood experiences and write for children. I would say like
Okay.
write about a moment or something from your childhood when you truly felt that you were seen either by a parent, a grandparent, or a teacher, and yeah, basically elaborate on where you were, what happened, and how is it that shaped who you are today.
Ah, okay. I like that because sometimes you can tell the story, but yet how did that play into shaping you today?
Yeah.
Because everything we've done in the past had something to do with
Yeah.
who we are today. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
and I think like just a little to add on is like even from my own story, like for me, like I grew up, or my dad was a solopreneur, so like I kind of watched firsthand like resilience, the value, and then the
Uh-huh.
community and how they all come together in helping you. And today, in my job as a business coach and consultant, I kind of bring those values in,
Okay.
and that's the kind of help I try to do and um, help people like my dad who are solopreneurs who are struggling through things because I've
Hmm.
seen him go through them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Preethi. This has been fun, very
Thank
interesting.
you.
And I know my audience will definitely enjoy this. I hope they will pick up two or three of your books. So, Andy, do you have anything else to add before we say goodbye?
No, nothing else. So, yes, please check out my books. They
Okay.
are usually available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and in Canada on Indigo as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, read my books and connect with me, give me a genuine feedback.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Preethi. Have a great day.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed our time with Preethi. Her stories are really, really cute, full of a lot of that heritage that is meaningful, of course, to her family, to her children, but it's an awesome way to learn about another person's culture. So you can very easily pick up one or two or three of her cute books in the details down below. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and I think there are a couple other places where you could get them. So take a look at them. You still have time to pick up a couple of them before Christmas. So if you enjoy receiving author videos like this or the prompts that I've done in the past and will do again real soon, um, go ahead and like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and please share my channel with others. And in the new year, we're going to really dig in and get started with that memoir of yours because it has to get written. And you know what? It starts with the very first word. So let's just plan on it. In January, we will get started with that. So I'm Judy Shearwaters, and Merry Christmas to you and a very happy New Year's. Until I see you in 2026, have a great, great family time and with friends too. Enjoy. Take care. Bye.